Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And today we've got some breaking news hot off the press. A Londoner solves a 20,000 year Ice Age drawing mystery. The mystery, the meaning behind the cave paintings. This Londoner spent thousands of hours scouring
The
data.
internet.
Yeah.
It literally says in the article, this man spent thousands of hours on the internet to do this. I
He
believe he
also
Yeah,
also
well,
did.
consults the British Library at some point.
Yeah, the
like
British Library.
honestly, I spent thousands of hours on the internet. He ain't special.
Mhm.
But the basis of this article is that this man, Ben Bacon, which mint
Sorry,
name,
sorry.
ended up studying the images and spent thousands of hours as a part of a research that he was conducting and compared them to other drawings and felt like he was confident enough to pull out certain meanings. One of which was a Y symbol that showed on certain paintings, which he felt was a symbol of giving birth because it showed one line growing out of the other.
Yeah.
And even though he was effectively a person off the street, he took his research to scientists and to experts and collaborated with a team of professors from Durham University and one from University College in London. By working out the birth cycles of similar present day animals, they deduced that the number of marks on the cave paintings was a record by lunar months of the animals' mating seasons.
So it's really interesting that this, what is he, a furniture conservator,
Yes.
just after doing supposedly thousands of hours of research on the internet, just came to these conclusions. And again, from what he, depending on what other experts say, we don't really focus. I don't think any of us actually focus on this time period, but there is an issue that happens when we, in a modern context, associate symbols or see symbols and we give them meaning because we think that's the meaning it is. And it could potentially be that these symbols might not have actually any meaning. And that's something that has to be considered, especially even when looking at not just art, but also architecture as well. If there is meaning, it is almost
Yeah.
completely lost to us, especially in terms of cave paintings. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there might actually be. I'm sure there is a possibility that there is some sort of association with the animals, if that's what the meaning is, which most likely is. However, I don't think we could ever actually have real concrete evidence to associate with a either a lunar calendar or
Yeah.
uh what is it, birth mating seasons for these
I
animals.
think that's a good
It
point to
is.
highlight, though.
Yeah. It is nice that they found a pattern that fits for what they are seeing here. Like doing this to this that they did find. They did manage to find a match when they went looking for that specific match. But to quote another armchair historian, Michael Cretan from Timeline, uh, maybe it's a doodle. Why can't it just be a doodle? They had doodles back then, didn't they?
I mean, like quite
That's
literally, you can see on
that's
with the
just talking
hands,
about medieval art, but yeah.
like the hand thing, where they sprayed they like threw wet paint all over their hands and made the handprint symbol. Why can't it just be just the hand paint
So,
symbol?
if I remember correctly, the way a lot of this was painted, I know the hands specifically, they put their hand out and sprayed the pigment on using their mouths.
Mhm.
They were able to determine that much. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. The Y symbol I think is a bit of a stretch, but the lunar calendar, the correlations are there. It's very possible that that could have been the true meaning because
Mhm.
humans always keep track of things. Humans are always counting things. One of our biggest strengths as a species is our pattern recognition. That's why the
Yeah,
lunar calendar is one of the earliest and most like simple
yeah,
calendars humans have ever built.
yeah. And one of the things too is like a lot of contributions. Just take. I'm just taking the true neutral tone here. A lot of contributions to archaeology and the other sciences have come from people outside of the main archaeology. There have been breakthroughs uh, from people who were not formal archaeologists but were hobbyists and enthusiasts. And this kind of enthusiasm for archaeology is something that I personally like and want to see encouraged, just because it promotes and supports museums and other institutions that are necessary for the preservation of knowledge. And just, whether or not this guy's gotten it right, I don't really know. I hope he has, because that, at least for the counting dots thing, because that's one less thing we don't know. And that's, one more bit of encouragement for people to engage with the material. However, I am very skeptical of his claims.
And this isn't meant to be like like a dig at Ben Bacon or anything like that. It's just it's something like when it's another one of these things where it's like when media gets a hold of something like this, they obviously have to sensationalize it a bit to get the clicks, and that obviously that's how it got my attention when I found the article and sent it to Justin.
This one from Aaron. Yeah.
So, but we have to we like the engagement, we really do, and it is a thought process, but also we have to remember we are it is a field of professionals who spend their entire lives doing this, and so we have to wait and see what the real data is, and sometimes there's not going to be any data for either ever or just a long time, because again, stuff like this is rare.
Yeah, and the thing back him is he did, he's not just putting this out there on his own. He did consult with professionals when he felt confident enough to propose this idea. And so far, those professionals from the article we have appear to be either in some form of tacit agreement, or at the very least, not willing to outright shut it down. This is not some absurd claim that is beyond the realm of Occam's razor and gone past the bounds of reason.
Well, and actually, to tie it up real nicely, the professor, one of the people he teamed with, Professor Paul Petit of Durham University, actually said that he was glad he took it seriously when Mr. Bacon contacted him. And the team's findings, this collaborative project that they did, actually did end up in the Cambridge Archaeological Journal. So it was truly published data, and it is credible science if it made it into a peer-reviewed journal. So you got to give Mr. Bacon props for being able to identify this and for taking the hobbyist approach, and instead of doing a destructive method, actually help contribute, because we see a lot of artifact collectors, hunters, like sellers, antiquities dealers. That, I think, is the wrong way to get into the archaeology hobby.
Yeah, he's doing archaeology the way I do archaeology, which is archival archaeology, where you are looking at what is written, what is published, what is known from any place you can find it, and piecing together your theories from that, as opposed to actually going out and trying to find artifacts.
Yeah. So this is
a very positive approach.
Yeah. So again, no ill will towards him. It's just really, just the way that this is presented is what can be the problem. What he did is actually
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest problem I come to have with this guy, at least in the BBC publication, is in some of his statements when he's trying to talk about some of the sites and the caves, Lascaux and Altamira. It does, in the quote at least, appear to imply that he believes that all these prehistoric places are one single culture. And that is a dangerous mentality. At least that's how it was when I read the quotes.
The quote says, "In turn, we're able to show that these people who left a legacy of spectacular art in the caves of Lascaux and Altamira also left a record of early timekeeping that would eventually become commonplace among our species." So I think I'm gonna have to deny. I'm gonna have to.
I just worry about the implication of that wording, it's not a cultural monolith that this man is researching and dealing with.
I definitely think it's a cherry pick quote, but it's generalizing.
Quote, and I just
I think
it
it's
is a and I just want to make that statement in case people, you do go happen to view this and go want to read the original article and come across that.
there could easily be
Okay.
500-year difference between those two people, and
It's
500
a
years
different. Hell, they're pretty far apart too. It's Altamira and LaSalle.
And on that
Yeah.
terrible bombshell, thank you guys for watching today's episode and seeing us bicker over our differing opinions. If you enjoyed today's video, leave a like down below. If there's a topic you'd like to see us cover, be sure to leave a comment down below and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.